Hi guys, so today we're in Bicester. I'm seeing John here from Williamson Chiropractic Clinic. John's been treating me for a good while now, obviously as a chiropractor, but you do a lot more than just chiro, don't you? You kind of specialise in a lot of different treatments.
Yeah, so specialise in sports injuries, rehab, do a lot of soft tissue work, exercise work, active.
You guys will get a good kind of insight into what he does when he starts treating me in a bit anyway. I'm sure we're going to go through a few things. But I was going to let John quickly explain what's kind of happened to my knee for those of you that saw I pulled out Europe's, and I've kind of been talking about. It's not a big injury, you know, before anyone kind of thinks I'm making excuses, I'm really not. It's not a huge injury. It was just bad timing. Happened 2 weeks before Europe's Strongest Man. Obviously with World's Strongest Man coming up, I didn't want to turn a small injury into a really serious injury. So now we're kind of, you know, we did what we could for Europe's. Now we need to get it 100% ready so I can start kind of hammering training. I've had this week off. I'll be back in the gym Monday. I still may need to be taking it a little bit easy, but John will kind of guide me on what's okay to push and what's not. But I'll let John quickly explain with his little diagram my knee.
Yeah. So initial injury is slight hyperextension to the knee, causing irritation to the cartilage on the back of the kneecap. So that bit there. So as obviously Laws
is quite a common thing for like push pressing and explosive movements.
Yeah, and especially when you've got thighs that are lifting what you were lifting, as you're bending, kneecap gets pulled on and just grinds back up, which in its own right is fine. It'll settle down very quickly. But with the lifts that were at Europe's and the little niggle we had, it would probably cause a little bit of internal rotation into the knee, causing the kneecap to sit a little bit skew, which is where you get the extra pressure on it, and that's where we made the decision to pull out and not push her any further on, especially tire flip. So basically what we're going to do today, carry on with trying to speed up and accelerate the healing to the back of the kneecap, whilst trying to improve function so Loz can get back in the gym doing what we need to do.
Cool. So you want me on the bench?
Yep, if you put up on your tummy to start with. So I'm going to pull that way, try and stop me. How's that feel?
Fine.
And again on that side.
That's good.
Now onto your back. And when you've been playing with the kids, where have you felt it most this week?
It's still kind of like right in the top of the kneecap, and it's just kind of like trying to get off the floor. I certainly can't kneel onto my knees or anything like that. If I try and put any pressure directly on it, it's still quite painful. But just everyday things, walking around, have been absolutely fine. No issues getting in and out of the car like it was a few weeks ago.
So hold it now and push down that way. Perfect. So the quad irritation all around is quite good.
Yep.
Which that's settled down nicely. But remember that rotation we were talking about?
Yeah.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
I feel like just lots of movement. So you try and get that back in as well.
Okay.
Onto your tummy for me. So what we're doing is basically loosening the muscles off first and then taking as much pressure off the knee as we can to just try and get a bit better movement in there. And always check both sides, compare them, because in the type of training you guys do, there's always going to be problem both sides. That's a bit horrible there.
Yeah, I can feel that. It's not so nice. The other leg is like fine. Well, maybe not fine, but it's...
You can see it there, sounds perfect, whereas there, if you come close to the camera, you can...
I can sort of hear it in my head.
Yeah.
It's like grisly. bit fitter because it's going to be hot and humid in Florida at that time of year.
Yeah.
And it's with a shorter format that they've got. There's no real rest time.
Is it 4 or 5 days, isn't it?
It's 4 days, yeah, non-stop competition. Strength training that I put in for Europe, so I actually felt very strong. I felt good for hitting PBs, but just got to save them now for Worlds.
And do they not even give you a hint of what the things are yet?
So far, nothing. I've heard rumours from, you get that, I don't know why, but World's Strongest Man, unlike the rest, I mean, Europe's we're told events, well in advance, Britain's we're told well in advance, Worlds they like to leave it till last minute. And I have been to Worlds before where they changed the events when I got there. A lot of it's to do with their locations.
Okay.
They kind of, change locations last minute, and then suddenly they can't do certain events in certain locations. But normally you're going to have a squat or a deadlift, you can have some kind of press, there's always going to be atlas stones, there's usually going to be some kind of loading medley. So you've got a good idea of what to train for.
Will they do an eliminator again this year?
Unfortunately, yes. I've heard rumours that they will be.
So the reason we're using needles is, in essence, to try and elicit a damage response from the tissue. So even though the needles actually don't cause any damage at all, the brain sort of thinks that there's been damage caused by the needles going in, and it just tries to get a quicker response from the body to heal the tissue by bringing blood flow and the body's immune system into the area. So even though it seems a bit strange, it tends to work very quickly.
Last time you put needles in me, Alexa was trying to climb on top of me.
That's true. One thing I might try today is I might actually get you doing some squats while we do a bit of treatment around the knee.
Okay.
Let's see how it tolerates either that, or maybe just put actually just get you doing like an extension, leg extension. And that might be actually one thing to do when you start training on Monday, actually doing a bit of leg extension work to see how it feels first.
Okay.
I'm guessing you guys don't do a huge amount of that to be able to fit in the machine.
No, I mean I do leg extension sometimes. I don't really do it very often these days. Mainly because my quads are quite dominant with my hamstrings and glutes, so that my quads can blow up so easily that they it causes me more problems than good sometimes to work them really hard. You've got a few strongmen that you work with though, don't you?
Yeah, got a few over the years, ranging from people just getting into the sport to people who've been in it for a long time. And I think one thing I've noticed over the years, a lot of the bodybuilder group have morphed into strongmen.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I would have expected maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
I guess The good thing with any type of training is you can adapt to try something new, and you know, sometimes you've just been doing the same thing for a long time, it can get a bit boring. It's nice to challenge yourself and do something different. I think a lot more gyms have access to Strongman now as well.
Yeah.
So that's helped with the growth and interest. I remember when I started, there was nowhere to train Strongman kid. You know, you just had to adapt or make stuff yourself.
So all I'm going to get you to do is from that position go straight flex, straight flex. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me when.
Just up and down as you go.
That's really hot.
And again, push up against me. And again. And again. And again.
Is that the laser?
Yeah. I've put a more precision head on it to try and get actually behind the kneecap a little bit more. And that heat you felt is basically, I meant I was on the right bit. As you can see, holding in that place, it's not really that much finish use, it's definitely on the outer edge. So here we're just using laser therapy just to increase blood flow, increase tendon and cartilage repair.
That's really hot.
Give it a break.
Yeah. I haven't noticed it that hot before.
No, I've used a larger head.
Yeah.
So if you look at the head on that one, so you can see going in through there. So it's just going to be pinpoint. We're trying to get, like if you actually physically put your hand on there, coming on that inside edge, it's absorbed more heat. Whereas on that outside edge, it's fine.
There's no pain in the actual knee doing this, which is good.
It was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay with that? Just about, yeah?
Yeah. Different one.
Just one shape, good for the knee.
So this is like Graston.
Yeah, it's just Graston technique. So it's designed just to be a bit more specific on the soft tissue. So, and the fact that we can do it with you being active just makes it a quicker response. So it breaks down the tissue a little bit quicker, a little bit more specifically. And the benefit for me is it doesn't kill my hands, and you don't generally want to kill me whilst I'm doing it.
A lot of these like newer kind of techniques, do you find they're better, or is it more just it saves you if you've got a lot of clients to work on in a day?
So mainly it's to be more specific. It's if you're working on a small leg, makes no difference either way. But if we stand for a just squat, see how we feel, and then we can see if we can do some squatting. So just squat down normally for me. How does that feel on the knee?
It's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of the new techniques, it's just...
Do you want me to squat?
Yeah, keep it coming up and down. It's just to speed up recovery time.
Yeah.
So
just in the bottom position, I can sort of feel along here kind of coming
actually coming onto that side, yeah. And is this about standard width for you?
Yeah, obviously you'd usually have the Olympic lifting shoes on.
Yeah, so all the new techniques, they're just there to speed up what we can do. So instead of taking 5-6 weeks, you can do it in
Definitely
2-3.
feels like, when I go down, it's like the kneecap is pulling.
To the outside. Okay.
And the deeper I go, I just feel it tighten up. It's okay, and then about here, from in there, and then any deeper than that is just uncomfortable.
Okay, careful.
Sorry.
Onto your back again. So I'm going to try and get full flexion on your knee while using my arm as a lever.
Yep.
It may be a bit painful, so let me know if it is. When I get into that position there, how's that feel?
Okay.
Yeah. And you feel that rotation just so it's come back?
Yep.
Actually, it's a lot nicer than it was, isn't it?
What's that?
When I'm doing that,
Yep.
a little bit of a grind there, but that's not. Last week that was.
Yeah. It's definitely improved.
Yeah. So I'm just going to work. Yeah, so with your hypervolt, if you work the lateral thigh quite heavily, if you feel lateral thigh there, it just feels quite normal.
Yeah.
Feels the same as the inside, whereas
It's quite tight.
yeah. So I'd probably go with them if they've got like a more bigger, so rather than like a more pinpoint. If
Yeah,
got
go for like a bigger ball.
Bigger ball.
Yeah.
I'd probably say like with your foam roller.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do full weight on it, but I do, maybe put a little bit of weight through it, and then because again, if the outside of the thigh is pulling tighter, that's why you're getting that pull in there.
Yeah.
And of course, that's going to cause the kneecap not to sit as well. Actually stay there in the bottom leg and straighten the top one.
A few weeks ago I just couldn't even get my knee into that position to do that.
Yeah.
That's tight.
So with the cup in, all we're basically doing is stretching the tissue, pinning it in place, and then getting loss to move to just take the pressure off the quad and then therefore take the pressure off the knee. Potentially I'll do a couple of squats as well and see how that feels. So when you get into that depth position there, how did that feel?
In the bottom position it's still kind of a little bit painful, particularly this side, but better than it was earlier. Like I was probably getting to about there earlier, and now I can sort of sink down. Just holding that, I can just feel it around there. Where that finger is.
I'm taking that one off. Does it feel worse or the same? Or better?
The same. I do feel like I'm slightly off.
Yeah.
I don't feel I'm as centred as I normally do.
What, loading away onto the
Yeah,
left?
yeah.
So again, that there, that's a little bit of just ligament irritation, so.
I'm the kind of person, if you scan, do you just come back with loads of issues?
Well, even if you look, there was the NHS done a wonderful study a couple of years back where they just looked at every X-ray and MRI they'd taken, and literally from 30 plus, 60% of every scan showed signs of damage, wear.
I was told when I originally tore my labrum in my shoulder, I was told I'd never lift again. And I had all sorts of issues going on in there. But lots of us have been told we'll never lift again by people. And
But I suppose it's that thing, isn't it? It's what we are looking for as normal and perfect is sometimes what causes athletes to be great.
That's tender.
Okay, so let's have a couple of squats on that again for me. There's you at the bottom there, how does that feel?
Not too bad. Like I can feel it, but it's not sort of stopping me.
But nothing up in the top?
No, top
it's
feels
all
fine,
right.
yeah.
Perfect. So, I'm going to be horrible.
Yep.
Turn to feet parallel, and then try and do a couple for me and see how that feels.
I don't like it.
Is that pain or just you don't like being in that position?
Still just pain in there, but also positioning in terms of squatting.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, pop some on your tummy again for me. When I turn your foot out, how does that feel?
That's okay.
Perfect. Onto your back. So I think we'll leave it there for the knee.
Yep.
So if I do any more, you're going to hit me tomorrow. In terms of training, full range of motion stuff, so start light squats, full range of motion, and play around with, I think in your shoes, you're certainly going to feel the knee a bit more, because obviously you're loading the front edge. So you may find just initially doing some in some flats or barefoot, then building up. Deficit deadlifts would be nice, but I think they're going to be painful. So see how you go. So all I'm thinking is a normal deadlift for you, you're not actually bending your knee that far, whereas deficit you're going further. And we'll just build on that. Okay? What else do you want? Shoulders, back,
Shoulders. This shoulder has been causing me issues in terms of mobility. Just like I find it hard to just put my hand behind my back, whereas the other hand's easy. But just kind of, just like getting into that position.
And where do you feel
And
it
I feel
stops?
tightness kind of in there, tie into the pec and shoulder.
And where was the slap lesion at the top?
Yeah.
So if I force you into that position, how does that feel?
It's alright.
It's just more if you actively try and do it.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's a bit nice.
Yeah. You hear that? Actually eased up a little bit. Ooh.
And do you do much sort of internal rotation work?
Not a huge amount. I do try and do some work towards the end of workouts. And to finish off shoulder workouts, doing rotator cuff work.
And when was the last scan on the shoulder? Was it when you done it?
Yeah, 2012.
You go into internal rotation. How's that feel in that position?
It's okay. It's tight, but it's okay.
Yeah. And tight in those same places.
Yeah.
And do you find you feel it in those areas when you're pressing?
Yeah, especially particularly with a log rather than like a bar. A bar I tend to be okay on, but a log, when you kind of rotate and the elbows kind of come forward slightly, I find it pulls me forward.
Okay, yeah.
On a bar, it doesn't seem to affect me so much.
I suppose the bar you're pushing from a closer centre of gravity. And then just moving. How's that feel there?
Tight.
Feel on your side.
One of the issues for me is a lot of my muscle tears are all on the right side of my body. So you've got labrum, and then you've got bicep, tricep, lat, quad, hamstring. So when you get to my age, and you've been doing it as long as I have, you're fucked. So kids, don't rush to come back from injuries.
And are you quite right dominant?
Yeah. Kind of as stupid as it sounds. Played table tennis for years.
Yeah.
I've done lots of different sports, but things like that, your strong hand is going to get stronger because everything comes from that one side.
So you didn't cheat and change hands?
I tried. This wasn't as good. I couldn't do a Ronnie O'Sullivan and play both hands. I could do a few shots. I can play left-handed, but not to a high level.
Something I did notice the other day though, when you and Laurence were arm wrestling,
Yeah.
you put your left arm up.
Well, he wanted to do it left-handed because he was doing right hand against Eddie.
Okay.
And I think he just didn't want to aggravate anything.
That's right. And when you go internally on that arm, do you feel anything, or do you feel alright?
This arm it moves a little bit better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good because I'm not stupid, but it's easier than the right arm.
Yeah.
Probably got a little bit more range of motion. That's tasty though as well.
Yeah.
Remember the first time anyone kind of worked on my chest, it was like bubble wrap. It
Yeah.
was terrible.
I think the official term for it is corduroy. And literally, when you first start using instruments, and the only way to describe it, it feels like something like the tool is bouncing down.
Yeah.
You know, because you have.
Because when the muscles, the fibres are kind of normal, it runs quite smoothly. Doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's you sort of obviously when you first start.
Like that is tight.
Yeah, you can hear it on the rib cage. But yeah, when you start, obviously your grip on the tools aren't particularly that great.
Yeah.
So they are vibrating in your hands, and then you go down someone's, body, and it's just. It's quite interesting because you're not, like, your issues are not symmetrical in any way, shape or form.
No. A lot of my issues are because I rushed coming back too quickly from injuries when I was younger.
Okay.
I was so keen to compete
Yeah.
that it was just, rather than rehabbing properly, you start training too quickly, start pushing too quickly, and then the body compensates.
Yeah.
And you think you're fine because you're getting through your workouts, but actually you've sort of shifted everything over to something else, and when you start to really push, and something would go. And, it's really held me back. It held me back between 2012 2016. And if I can give anyone advice, it's to, I get people messaging me all the time. They've had like an injury, and they're like, can I use this, or can I try this, and will I be all right for like 3 weeks' time in my comp? I'm like, to be honest, you're better off missing it. There's always another show, and getting yourself fully rehabbed. And that's why now, if you see me pull out of a show, like when I was younger, I never used to pull out of anything. I was crazy. I'd kill myself at every single show. But I guess as you get older, you get a bit smarter. You've suffered, and you know what it's like to suffer.
Yeah.
You just have to think a bit more about longevity and looking after yourself. When people say I always get injured, to be fair, the last 3 years I haven't had anything serious, touch wood. It's
I suppose with what you guys do, it's not just the weight or the physicality, is it? It's the instability of it.
yeah.
Like, it still amazes me, like when you watch you guys do the farmer's walk,
Yeah.
or yoke,
Yeah.
how much like lateral sway there is, and how much
Yeah, you see,
weight that
you
must
see
be.
some of the guys, it's awful. Having that kind of core strength to stabilise that weight as much as possible is massively important.
Like even when we were in Dubai, that 580, like that just...
That was heavy.
It looked painful. Why don't you tell me for me? Take a nice breath in and out. And again for me. And out. Sit yourself up there for me. Have a little move, see how that feels.
I feel pretty good, like my body as a whole doesn't feel too bad.
Perfect.
I'm kind of ready to get back in the gym.
Yeah, so obviously shoulders normal. I think that's just always going to be an ongoing thing. Right side of your lower back is very tight because of
compensation from the legs.
But I think I would get back full range of motion in the knee. And just, like I said, some deficit stuff I'd try it.
Just to get more of a bend in the knees.
Yeah, I just think, because if we just play...
That's what I found on the deadlifts on the weekend. Right in the bottom position, which is my strongest position, that's where I'm powerful, I had nothing.
Yeah,
and then I was kind of just...
I think what that was is where, obviously that rotation was in mortal hamsters. As you get down, your hamstring will kick in.
It was weird, even in the warm-ups, I felt like I was struggling on the deadlifts. Whereas normally, like the lighter weight, 260 kind of weights just fly up, but I could just feel like it was kind of coming over to the side, and
so I would just
couldn't generate that.
I'd start with some squats, then go in deads, and then just slowly decrease the range of motion in the knee through power.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very, normally when I'm training anyway, everything is built up over the weeks, but I'll start from very light weights on the leg and see how it feels.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, like I said, just walking around, it feels quite good now. Not doing anything.
But that'll be the test. I think
tomorrow you reckon it might flare up a little bit just with the treatment.
Yeah. So you have it'll feel, probably the best way to describe it is hot.
Okay. I kept moaning about that thing being hot, didn't I?
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to feel hot, and it'll be like there and there.
Yeah. You can see it's already quite red.
Yeah. So and then it should settle down nicely, and then I think we'll try and sort something out. Ideally next week if we can, but obviously with Easter week it might be a bit difficult, but we'll have a look.
Okay.
And what I think I'd like to try is we'll try and arrange it where you're in the gym and do some active work loaded.
Okay.
Whether you tolerate it or not, we'll see. But I think that will be when we start to get to the finishing touches.
Yeah.
You know, doing some loaded work, it's just going to finish it off and get it firing properly.
Cool, brilliant. Well, thank you for seeing me.
No problem.
Hope you guys found that interesting. Any questions you have, comment below and we'll try and get John to answer them. But we'll pop a link in so people can find you.
Yep.
And no, thank you very much for letting us in and getting a behind the scenes look at what you do.